Hi and hello everyone, this is Marius from The Consultants. For everyone who doesn't already know our channel, my friend Alex and I, we're both management consultants, are going to share a lot of tips and insights for creating presentations in a professional, especially business-oriented environment. So today our topic will be basic quality requirements for a professional presentation in PowerPoint. So that means I'm not going to talk about the basics here. It's rather going to be about meeting standards that will help you to improve the quality of your presentations and not about how to change font sizes or the color of objects. Alright, let's get into it. To give you a brief idea what the topics in this video are going to be, let's take a look at the agenda. First of all, the cover slide. Well, it seems obvious, but still I see a lot of presentations without one out there. Another thing we're going to talk about is the agenda itself. It's a crucial element for a presentation with more like 10 slides. And so we're going to talk about how to use one and what to do with it. Also, we're going to talk about action titles and what you want to do with them. Another topic will be guides and how to set a frame for a presentation and the content and also to align objects. And finally, we will wrap it up with the basics about the look of your content, like font sizes, the usage of colors, etc. So let's get started. It's quite simple. Use a cover slide. Literally every PowerPoint master has one, so just do not forget to use this slide, especially if you have to hand it in or send it to a colleague. That's crucial then. Now, what do you want to put on the cover slide if it's not already included in your PowerPoint master? Well, first of all, a title, and if you need it, a subtitle. A typical title could be, for example, a project name, and the name of the presentation, like status report, could be the name of the subtitle. Another piece of information you might want to include is the date, and if you wish or need to, the location. Also, normally a lot of companies want to see their logo or any corporate design on the cover. This might be relevant, especially if you're pitching the project to a client. Okay, that's it for the cover slide. Let's move on to the agenda. What I see often is people just dive right into the presentation because they really want to talk about the topic or have some interesting results they want to share. Don't get me wrong, it's great those people want to get straight to the point, but especially in longer presentations, an agenda is crucial. It helps your audience to better navigate through the content and follow more closely in general. If you don't use an agenda slide, you risk confusing people, or even worse, you lose their attention. Also, some might be particularly interested in a certain aspect of your presentation. With an agenda, you make sure they know the topic is included, they can relax. So, to sum it up, one of your first slides should be an agenda that shows your audience the contents of your presentation. Also, make sure to use an agenda slide if you move to another chapter. There are different ways to do that, for example, by making the text bold like this, or changing the color to a lighter shade, for example, from black to gray. See, that is the benefit of an agenda. You now already know what the next topic is going to be, action titles. You can actually say also taglines. I've heard a couple of names for it. But what we're talking about is the text you should be using to help the reader to understand the message and content of your slide fast. Most of the time it's on top here, or in other masters it's on the left. So no matter where you find it, every single professional PowerPoint master uses action titles in some ways, and this is what you should be doing as well. If you want to know how to write a great action title, check out a video on action titles. And let me just say one quick thing here. Don't just describe what is on the slide, like, for example, sales opportunities. Rather use a full sentence and tell the audience what you want them to know. It might be something like, sales projections for 2025 indicate great opportunities. We should act now. Alright, that's it for action titles. Let's move on to guides, which are another important element of every professional presentation. Well, not the guides itself, but the way your content is presented if you use them correctly. For those of you who don't use guides or don't know what guides are, I'm talking about those lines here. If you don't see them in your PowerPoint right now, just make them visible by clicking on View and then guides. Here they are. You can arrange them by just clicking on them and moving your mouse like this. So now you know what guides are, but you might ask why use them. So first of all, they set a frame for your presentation. Try not to place anything like text or objects outside your guides. By doing this, you make sure that the person clicking through your presentation is not distracted by too much movement or things jumping around. It makes your presentation look much more clean and professional. It kind of sets the frame of attention for your viewer. Another benefit, guides give you the chance to align elements on the slide, like this. So now you might ask, okay, I understand what guides are and how to use them, but where should I place them? My suggestion is to use the action title text box as the frame on the left and right, like here. And I suggest to place the upper guide a little bit below the action title text box, here, and the lower guide with some distance to the edge of your slide. Slide numbers also can give you a good indication where to actually place it. Okay, now we know how to start a presentation, we know how to navigate your audience through it by using an agenda and action titles, and where to place our content. Last but not least, I want to talk about some basics you might want to consider while working on content. Okay, I admit it, that looks like an extreme example, but I think you see what I want to talk about. I've heard a lot of different rules and tips on font sizes, like don't ever use anything smaller, like 12 or even 16. Obviously, the bigger the size, the easier it will be to read, but there's also a size where it gets unprofessional in general. There are different PowerPoint masters out there, and companies and even certain industries have their own style and preferences. For example, if you are in a creative industry, your slide and font sizes might look very different from someone who's working in a bank, for example. So always think about who your audience will be. I suggest you use 12 as your standard size and 14 if you need to highlight anything. Again, if you use anything between 11 and 14 as your standard size, you'll be alright. Much more important than using size 11 or 12 is do not use too many different sizes in your presentation. In like 95% of the cases, 2 or 3 sizes should be enough. So now I'm just using 2 sizes here, 12 and 14. For headlines and important things I want my reader to know, it's 14. Other infos and details are in 12. See, looks much more cleaner and also more professional. Alright, another thing I want to mention are colors. If you use too many different colors, it just not looks very professional, especially if you're using bright and extreme ones like here. What I suggest is actually pretty easy. Stick to the colors of your PowerPoint master. You see those here. And you also might use different shades of the same color. You'll find them below the colors here. Of course, sometimes there are reasons to use different colors. For example, if you use red, yellow, and green, like traffic lights, to indicate if something is on track, under review, or to show a problem. That's fine, no problem with that. Alright guys, this is my last point for today. Do not use animations in PowerPoint. I know, you still see slides flying in or pyramids spinning around. Be professional, just don't do it. It's not 1999 anymore. We all know those effects exist. We've seen them, but it's definitely not professional. Don't do it. The only time you might want to use animations is when you actually present your slide. In this case, the appear animation can be useful. This might be the case if you don't want your audience to immediately see everything on your slide. By animating the elements one by one, it's easier to control the setting and to reveal your content point by point. Alright, that's it for today. Those were some basic requirements for the professional look of your PowerPoint presentation. Make sure you use a cover slide and agenda. Use action titles in general and use them to tell a story, your story. And last but not least, check if your content looks professional. Just to be clear, if you check all those boxes here, it doesn't mean that your presentation will be great. It just means you've managed to meet the basic criteria for a professional presentation. If you want to know more about how to create professional content and things you actually should be doing on your slide, or about certain types of presentations like status reports, check out our other videos. Also, please comment below if you have any questions or things you might want to add. And yeah, it would really help us if you hit the subscribe button and leave us a like. Thank you very much. See you soon.